Paramount's Apartment 7A, the prequel to 1968's Rosemary's Baby, joins a long list of illustrious apartment-themed horror movies. Apartment 143, Apartment 407, and who can forget Apartment 1303 3D?
And apartments don't kill people. People kill people.
For you horror movie fans out there, Rosemary's Baby is one of those classic films that spawned a slew of horror that focused more on human fears and relationships than blood and gore, and Apartment 7A, over 50 years later, attempts to do the same. In this video, we'll be taking a deep dive into the movie and its connection to Rosemary's Baby, so be warned, there will be spoilers for both. But before we begin, make sure to like and subscribe so I can pursue my career of being a Broadway dancer. Apartment 7A follows Terry Giannoffrio, a dancer from a small town in Nebraska, following her dreams of making it big in New York City in 1965. If you've seen Rosemary's Baby, Terry is actually in two scenes. Rosemary meets her while doing laundry and is shown this strange necklace. A necklace Terry was gifted from her neighbors, the Castovets. The second scene, well, let's just say she finally found a role worth dying for. Struggling to make ends meet, Terry pushes herself to the limit and suffers a debilitating foot injury, one which puts her dreams of seeing her name in the big lights in jeopardy. Desperate, she tracks down famous Broadway producer Alan Marchand at his apartment, the Brantford, the same apartment complex Rosemary and her husband Guy will soon move into. It's there she runs into Roman and Minnie Castovets, an elderly couple with a penchant for girls who need a little help getting back on their feet. You see, Minnie and Roman never had any children of their own, and they have this whole apartment sitting unused. Terry seems like a nice enough girl, why doesn't she move in? It's an offer that seems too good to be true, and it definitely is when we find out Minnie and Roman are part of a satanic cult hell-bent on giving birth to the Antichrist. If you've seen Rosemary's Baby, you'll already know this, as Roman is the son of an infamous satanic leader, Adrian Marcato, who believed he could bring about the rise of the Antichrist. Adrian's son was named Stephen Marcato, and if you rearrange the letters in his name, you get Roman Castovet. There are even clues that point to Roman being a Satanist when he remarks that the view of the church across the street is a quote-unquote eyesore. Minnie also remarks that by helping Terry, they would be earning points with the man upstairs, although in this case it's not God, but Satan. Terry isn't the first young woman the Castovets have helped, nor will she be their last. While checking out her apartment, Terry finds dancing shoes belonging to a Joan Cebulski. Like Terry, she was a struggling dancer entrapped by the Castovets' generosity. We'll later learn from a nun that the Castovets did terrible things to this woman, and one night she fled and was mysteriously hit by a bus. Tricked into a dinner with the Castovets and Alan Marchand, Terry finds herself alone with the renowned producer. This is actually okay with her, as it gives her a chance to schmooze her way into a position on his latest show, The Pale Crook, a take on the 1866 musical The Black Crook, which, ironically, is about a man making a deal with the devil. Terry finds herself drugged by Mr. Marchand and undergoes this hallucinatory dream in which she dances and sees Roman reading a newspaper titled Is God Dead? A Time magazine cover with the same title can be found in Rosemary's Baby. This is also where we see this diamond-encrusted demon. This demon is different from the one found in Rosemary's Baby and perhaps is a metaphor for the glitz and glamour Terry so desperately yearns for, because as soon as she's inseminated with this demon, all her dreams come true. The price she must pay, however, is carrying the Antichrist. I was a bit taken aback how calm Terry was after waking up from being Bill Cosby'd and not losing her shit. Perhaps it was the surprise that she's now been cast in Mr. Marchand's upcoming production. As the story progresses, she'll work her way up from a member of the chorus to the lead, finally getting to see her name on the marquee. She's getting everything she ever dreamed of, but it comes at that price. Around this time, we meet Terry's neighbor, Lily Gardenia, over in Apartment 7E. It's actually her apartment that Rosemary and her husband Guy take over at the beginning of Rosemary's Baby. In that movie, we never meet Lily, however we get to see her apartment filled with different types of plants and herbs. These herbs will be used as a poultice for Terry's injury, an injury that magically heals after she's been inseminated with the devil. When Terry finds out she's pregnant, it's friend of the Castovets, Dr. Saperstein, that helps her along. This is the same doctor who will help Rosemary and is also part of this secret satanic cult. At a party, Terry is given this 300-year-old necklace necklace for good luck. It contains a substance called tannis root, which makes the wearer docile and complacent, effectively allowing the cultist to better control whoever wears it. In Rosemary's Baby, Terry will show off this necklace to Rosemary before she eventually wears it herself. The last we see of it, Rosemary throws it down a sewer grate. When Alan hears Terry is pregnant, he calms her down by saying,
"Well, it's hardly the end of the world."
Which is kind of funny since she's about to give birth to the spawn of Satan, who will be the end of the world. At night, Terry finds that Mrs. Gardenia has entered her home and tries to kill her. In Rosemary's Baby, all we know is that Mrs. Gardenia had a health emergency and went into a coma before dying. Rosemary sees part of a letter in her apartment which reads, "I can no longer associate myself." In the prequel, we get to see more of this letter, which hints that Mrs. Gardenia was once part of the cult and had a change of heart, knowing that she had to kill Terry in order to stop the birth of the Antichrist. We also learn how Mrs. Gardenia gained entry to Terry's apartment through a secret door, one we see hidden by a large cabinet in Rosemary's Baby. When Terry finds Mrs. Gardenia's hidden door and a satanic book outlining the birth of a demonic child, she searches for answers at a nearby church, learning the history of the previous tenant, Joan Cebulski.
If this child is born, God have mercy on us all.
It's at this point Terry knows she has to get rid of the baby, going so far as to get a back alley abortion, which goes terribly wrong. Back at the Brantford, Terry follows Minnie to a hidden underground theater. It's there she has flashbacks of the night she was knocked up. But it wasn't Alan who did it, rather Roman Casavets himself. It is his seed that will bring about the spawn of Satan. Rushing back to her room, she finds Roman and Minnie waiting for her and even threatens to stab herself, killing the baby. But whatever entity is inside her prevents her from doing so. It's truly a feeling of helplessness as Terry ventures to her neighbor's apartment to find all the cultists clapping for her. Roman announces that God is dead, stating that the year is now year one, the same exact thing that is spoken at a New Year's party in Rosemary's Baby.
To 1966, the year one!
For a moment, it appears as though Terry embraces her newfound role as mother to the spawn of Satan.
It's a role of a lifetime.
And perhaps as a way to distract the audience, Terry performs a creepy dance, slowly making her way to the window and pushing herself off. She'd rather kill herself than be the mother to Satan. The aftermath of this event is seen in Rosemary's Baby when Rosemary and her husband find her body on the side of the road. So these two films have a bit of overlap with one another. The appearance of Minnie and Roman here would also suggest them stumbling upon the body was no coincidence at all. Perhaps they came to see if she were still alive. If you pay close attention, you'll notice a lot of foreshadowing of Terry's death by fall. For example, Minnie says,
"You'll be flying in no time."
Or "we fall so we can get up." With Terry dead, the cultists have to find a new mother, and this is where Rosemary comes in. Whereas Apartment 7A ends with a nice nod to its 1968 predecessor, where we see Rosemary and Guy hovering over the body of Terry, the ending of Rosemary's Baby is much more open to interpretation. Rosemary ends up giving birth to the spawn of Satan and goes over to soothe the cries from her baby. We don't know if she intends on raising the child or killing it, but by the look on her face and the fact the film ends with a child's lullaby, it looks like the spawn of Satan will survive. But what did you think of Apartment 7A? Was it a worthy prequel to a horror classic? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.